pjnet.tv. It is 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and it is time for a brand new week of pjnet.tv. We are running a bumper, we are streaming, we are recording, we have our guest in the green room, and the chat room is eagerly waiting, so we will switch to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, good evening and welcome to pjnet.tv. Gosh, I'm glad you're here. We're starting a brand new week and there's a lot going on. But tonight, what we have going on is we have a first-time guest, and she's waiting to just appear on the screen at any moment now. And she's got an interesting story, but before I bring her on, I want to say a special thank you to all of you in the pjnet.tv chat room. Now, you might be watching this live on Twitter, on Facebook, or even on YouTube. And if you are, we certainly are glad that you are spending your time with us, and we hope to earn that. But we also would like to invite you to join all the fellowship and friends over at pjnet.tv in the chat room. You can watch the same video you're watching now, and you can do it with some friends, and I'll bet you'll meet some new ones, okay? At any event, we have gone to great trouble and great length and great difficulty and great expense to bring Debra Dupree Williams. Now, Dupree is spelled the way it sounds. It really is, but I want you to see it on the screen because you might not spell it the way that I spelled it there. It is correct on the screen, okay? That's how you do it. But Debra, you use that name for your publishing and professional work, but I think your friends call you what? Bubba? I mean, Debbie?
Well, I have 4 boys, so Mom most of the time, but even they don't even call me the same thing. You know, they all call me something different, but that's okay. I answer to all of it because I love them all. So, yeah. But Dupree is a good old French name, and that's where my ancestors were from. They were French Huguenots who came with William Byrd to the Mannequin Huguenot colony in Richmond, Virginia. And they've been here a long time. But I'm the only one in the family who puts capital P in it. Nobody else does. My daddy did. That's the reason I do. So
you just do that in honor of Dad?
In honor of Dad. I never saw him write his name without a capital P in it. So, yes.
It's
that's the way
Dupree, not
writing.
Dupree. It's well, yeah.
No, I say Dupree. The rest of the family says Dupree, but I say Dupree.
What would be the southern pronunciation of that?
Probably Dupree.
Dupree. You got to add a syllable. Southerners add a syllable somewhere along the way. You know.
We couldn't call ourselves true Southerners if we didn't do that. Now, Coach. You know.
I know it's great. Well, Debra, I was at your website, which, by the way, I was at the underlying blog engine. But oddly enough, her website is found at debradupreewilliams.com. And right. I noticed that you are blogging. I noticed 2 things. I noticed one, that you're blogging on, I think it's Thursday, every Thursday. Is that right?
Every Thursday. Yes, every Thursday morning.
Congratulations. There are so many bloggers out there. And it's funny, the ones that seem to be doing a good job of it are blogging like weekly. And all the ones that are struggling, they're saying, well, what's your secret? They all say the same thing. You know.
I don't know. I haven't missed, but I think 1 week, and even the week that I had to miss one in 3 years, just a little over 3 years, I put a meme up, so that my people had something to see. So, yeah, well, I try to be faithful. Well, thank you, Edie Melson, for that lesson. Thank you.
We get, like I say, the people struggling, they ask what their secret is, but do you know what an asshole is?
No.
A person that asks for your advice all the time and never takes it.
An asshole. Yes, I know a few of those people. I related to some of
them. So not only now you've been doing this for how long every week?
It's about 3 years now.
Oh,
I started in, I think, 2017. I started, yes. Mm-hmm. So
Well, I didn't read all of them, but I read enough of them to come to the conclusion that you blog on like a variety of topics. But how do you come up with new stuff week after week after week?
Jesus. I mean, seriously, that is the honest truth. That's the most honest answer I can give you, because I don't write my blogs ahead of time. I write them. I will be writing mine tomorrow for this week. I already know the title of it, so I know what I'm going to write about, and it's God is in the details. And rather than the devil is in the details, God is in the
Oh, okay.
details in my life. And so that's my subject, but I haven't written it yet. I just know that's what it's going to be about, because that just came to me this week. And so
I
that's what
do
it's going to be
not
about.
question the authenticity, truth, and sincerity of your answer, Jesus. I know a lot of people who know Jesus that don't know how to write blogs like you do. So what is it other than Jesus?
Well, I don't. I guess truly a God given thing to just have insight. And I have a sister, a big sister, that I say, "What should I write about this week?" And she gives me really good things to talk about. Sometimes, she'll say, "Well, you talked about to me this talk to me about this week. How about this?" And so, thank you, Bobby. She is a great spiritual advisor as well as my big sister, and she has a lot of good words of wisdom to give me sometimes. So some of them come to her, but the words really, when I sit down to write, because I don't know what I'm going to say, but Holy Spirit shows up every week, and for that I'm thankful. I couldn't do it without Him. I couldn't. I don't have this ability. I just don't. I don't. It comes from up above, and the Holy Spirit sitting right here beside me. So,
And now you're also vocally talented, aren't you?
well, I was a vocal performance major when I was in college. I was a lyric coloratura, trained to sing opera and oratorio. And no, just because I talk like this doesn't mean that I sing that. I couldn't sing country if I tried. I sing opera and oratorio, where I did. I don't anymore. I have genetic hearing loss, which means that I don't hear right in the middle of the pitch anymore. And so I won't sing quite in tune. I sing in the shower. I sing at home. I sing when I'm cooking. I sing with the children in the car, when we're going someplace. And I do sing in church. I still in the congregation, not in the choir anymore.
Hmm.
But for years, I was a member of a choir. So, yeah.
Well, music's kind of
And it's
odd
his.
because uh, I started my career in radio, and that
Did you?
obviously has a lot to do with music. But I lost interest in music. I don't
Did
sing.
you?
If I Yeah, I do not sing. If the
Wow.
radio is on in the vehicle when I get in it, I turn it off, and I don't hum. There is no music in me. But
Oh,
I
my
have had
goodness.
many conversations, but that is not to say that I don't understand the importance, nor that I don't appreciate music. I
Yeah.
was having a
Yeah.
conversation today with someone who was in our chat room, and we were talking about the importance of the musical score as a mode of communication and as a piece of the propaganda puzzle in messaging.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
I guess I could see that. Yeah. Because music is the universal language. I could see that
It
where it
sets the
would.
tone. It sets the
Yes, it
tone.
does. It really does.
Yeah. If
Wow.
you have a serious message, you need some serious music. If you have a light message with levity, you need some kind of,
That is
whimsical,
true.
you know,
Like Psycho
meter and
comes to
tone.
mind. Remember Psycho? Boy, that would that carried a message, didn't it?
Yeah.
That I think we all still resonate some
Now,
with that.
is blogging your only writing outlet at this point?
No, I am about to have my first novel published July the 15th. It should be released. It is a genealogy related mystery, and it is set in a little South Alabama town named Loblolly. And I guess it's okay to say it that it's modeled after my lovely hometown of Andalusia, Alabama. It was the best place on the face of the earth to grow up. I still have wonderful, wonderful friends from my childhood. My best friend and I still stay in touch. We talk to each other. We call each other. We send messages to each other. It was just a wonderful place to grow up. And and it's well known. If you've never gone to through Andalusia, you should. It's known for its Christmas town. They have a wonderful thing that they do at Christmas every year. You will read about that on one of my blogs too if you go there and read about that. But a little Christmas village, Candyland they call it, and they even have snow. They have in Andalusia, Alabama, they have snow. But if you're on your way to the beach and you need something good to eat, you have to stop in Dean's Cakes. Now, I don't mean to be an advertisement for Andalusia, Alabama, but I am proud of my hometown, and it's a wonderful, lovely little place. It really was a great place
I'll
to
be
go.
sure to send
So,
this video to the Chamber of Commerce and see if I can convince them to send you a check to buy some of your books and put them on
yes,
display.
write a check. Yes, please.
Faith,
No.
family, and plans. By the way, thank you for doing. That was one of the better promo videos. I like any promo video, but it looked to me like you actually kind of put some thought into that and worked on it. Kind of looked like you might have had some help too.
Well, just a little bit. My husband was behind the scenes holding up the card that had the words because I'm too old to memorize stuff anymore. I'm sorry. Just don't ask me to do that. As a matter of fact, I stopped memorizing things when I was in my 40s. I gave a recital when I was had just turned 40. I gave a recital in our church, and the choir director who was there at the time said, you've got to sing this without the music. And I said, that's not happening. No, I had my music still with me. Yeah, so I
Well,
held my
Deborah,
music to the.
I'm sure you're aware of this because I am, so you probably are. There are two things about getting old, and one of them is that your memory will begin to fail you.
Well, short term, but not long term. Long term kind of stays with me. I remember things from a long time ago far more readily than I do something that you might have told me 5 minutes ago. But I guess that just comes with the territory. I don't mind telling you, I'm 70. I turned 70 in October, so I'm
Well,
getting on up there.
it it's that clean living. You preserved very well. The
Well, thank you.
but in your promo video you mentioned faith, you mentioned
Hey,
family, and then you mentioned planning. So I wanted to give you a minute while I enjoy this coffee while it's still hot,
please
to
do.
share those three thoughts that are obviously on your mind.
Well, my faith and my family are the two most important things to me in my entire life. They always have been, they always will be. But in doing family is one of the reasons that I wrote the book that I wrote. Grave Consequences is the name of the book that will be coming out. The heroine's name is Charlotte Graves, so all of the titles will have grave in them. But and it is a planned series of mysteries, but they're genealogy mysteries. And the reason that I wrote that is because of a lifelong search for lost ancestors. And my sister and I have done this for many, many years. When I was 16, my uncle, my dad's twin brother, was a Presbyterian minister, and he gave me a 2 volume set of books called The Dupree Trail. And yes, that was how it was said on there, Dupre, with an accent over the E.
Ah,
So it was the Dupree Trail is how the name should be said, actually, but we've anglicized it Dupree. But in searching for relatives, it was not until in the late 1990s actually that I looked at those books. They're the one of the choir members in our church in Brandon, Florida, First Presbyterian Church of Brandon, Florida. Lovely, lovely church and lovely people. Uh, One of the choir members was the regent of the local DAR chapter. And I said to her, I said, I have these books, but it's like looking at Greek. I don't even know. I said, could I prove my lineage? And so she said, bring them and let me look at them. And she got me in touch with the registrar. And thanks to Emmy Mae Pritchard Langley, who had gone through all of the Dupree files available in the 1960s, I was able to put together my line. My particular line had never been proven before, the son James, but my revolutionary patriot is Jeremiah Dupree. And I have stood at his grave, my sister and I, and my son. And that was indeed an honor to get to stand at his grave and have our picture taken and say thank you. We have our freedoms because of people like him, and family is important. So that's why the stories came out uh, through the genealogy, and why my stories will all have genealogy as a thread in it. She's indeed an amateur genealogist, is what she does in the books. But plans, I had no plans to be a writer. I had written all my life, but I had no plans to be a writer. My sister said to me one day, "Have you ever been to Lorraine Snelling's website?" And I said, "Authors have websites?" I didn't know that. She said, "Go." And at the bottom of her page there, I scrolled down and she had a link to the Blue Ridge Mountains Christian Writers Conference. It was the week in May, the very week in May. We were in Florida now. We were in Tampa, Florida. It was the very week in May that we had to be in Asheville for the final walkthrough of our home we were building here. And I said to my husband, I said, "Can we go?" He said, "You better go." So we stayed at Ridgecrest and I went to that conference. I took my picture books, which is what I thought that I would be writing, picture books and poetry, and showed them to Sally Apocadoc and Michelle Medlock Adams. And I said, "I don't even know if I'm a writer." And that was the first time that I heard somebody say to me, "You are a writer. Please don't stop." But fast forward, and God placed all these people in my life. I took classes. I kept going. As a matter of fact, we're missing Blue Ridge this May because of the coronavirus, but we'll be going in November, and that's a good thing. We all need to see each other. We long
I'm
to see
making
each
plans to be there as well.
Oh, good. I did not know that.
Well,
Oh,
I've
people don't look for him. He's a really good guy.
I hope to
See?
meet a lot of people there. In fact, I'm not a writer. Don't have any. Um,
Yeah.
I would like to comment when people say I'm not a writer. I say that, but I would follow
Yeah.
it with this: there is a book in all of us.
That's right.
Now, there's a lot of ways to express that. Writing is one, but there is a book within all of us, and each of us have a story to tell.
That's right. Everybody has a story. Mine started at Blue Ridge, got open doors I never even considered looking at, let alone walking through. And I'm telling you, my husband and I were talking the other day. I told him, I said, "Jim, you know that old saying where we make plans and God laughs?" I said, "Well, that may be true, but I'm telling you, he's sitting there laughing because you haven't dreamed big enough." And he's saying, "Oh, my dear, you just can't imagine the plans I have for you." And he's just laughing because we don't dream big enough. God wants you to succeed. Oh my goodness, he just wants you to come to him and succeed and be the best that you can be, because he just created us to be. We're in his image. We're created to be creative. So be the best you can be. Just go out there and just seek God in all that you do. And that's what I have tried to do. And the most quoted scripture I say to my children all the time is Jeremiah 29:11. "I
Wow.
know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, but to give you hope and a good future." I tell them that all the time. Just lean on God. He's not going to lead you astray. Look at your mama. 70 years old and about to have a first book published. I mean, I could not have imagined this. I mean, never could I have. Just amazing people have been put in my path. Amazing.
Now, looking back over your now 3 years of weekly blog entries, what are some of the ones that stand out the most that you feel best about?
Oh, the ones that I feel best about. I loved the one I wrote just a couple of weeks ago called "When This Is Over." I had a lot of comments about that. And I loved it. And I felt that it was probably one of my better ones. But I also love the ones that I have done that give homage to my mother and my father, to my ancestors, those people who have come before me, and who created the person that I am today. I mean, their blood flows through my veins. I just feel them. I feel every time I sit down to write about them or I think about them, and all of my books have my family in them. This book that is about to come out in July, it is based on my great grandmother in part, and she is. I didn't even change her first name. She has a different last name, but her name is Josie. You will meet her in the book, and that is my great grandmother, and it's truly her story. It really is her story that's in there. I changed it just a little bit, poetic license, but book two has my family in it. I carry on with the Laniers. Lanier is one of my family names. I try to use family names for people that were from long ago. So if you see your name in there, it's not after you. It's after my long gone family members. I promise you, people that you wouldn't know, that I don't even know. I never met them. So, but yeah, I love those. The ones that honor God, and I try to honor God in every one of them, and to say something. And lately, I've gotten a little bit more spiritual, I think, in my blogs, trying to lead people to the Lord, because the world's just lost. We just got so many lost people out there, and the times are really tough right now. And I'm telling you, Jesus is the answer. He's just the answer. That's all there is to it. He can fix anything and everything. It's not going to make life easier, maybe, but at least you've got somebody to lean on. I don't know how people are getting through this without him. I just don't. I just don't.
I get it. Well, Deborah, we're out of time, and I appreciate you sharing. I'm going to give you one more sentence, because you've really obviously you have a great love and your family, your mother and your grandmother in particular. Now, if I could have your mother or grandmother come right here on this stage and say, "What do you think about Debbie?" What do you think they'd say?
My granny would say, "That's my fiddle. I knew it. I just knew it. That's my fiddle. I always do." And my mother would be so proud. She wouldn't believe it. Well, she would, I guess. She would be so proud. She would not believe that it came through written words. She would have expected me to be up here singing, but
Yeah.
yeah, she'd be proud. Thank you, Mama. Love you. You did good, Mama.
Deborah, you did good too. Thanks for sharing, and I wish we had more time, but thank you for sharing. I hope you'll come visit our chat room and read some of the comments in our chat room
Oh,
about the
thanks.
things
I'd
you
love to
said.
do that.
And we
Thank you
appreciate.
so much, Coach.
Thank,
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
thanks for sharing.
Thank
Debra Dupree Williams, right here on pjnet.tv. And as good as that was, we are not done. At the bottom of the hour, we will have Casper Stockham with Casper's Take. And that's coming up in just a few minutes. I am going to be very busy tearing this studio down and rebuilding it in preparation for him. But before I leave, I'd like to leave you with two questions and a challenge. The first question is this: what is the boldest thing you've ever done for Jesus Christ? The second question is, how long ago was that? My challenge to myself, and I hope that you will accept it as well, is to never be satisfied with either answer.